guess the I'll find a better way to say this later. Anyways, this is what happens when you take a well-intentioned person that wants to do good things and you put them in a place where you make that impossible for them. They obviously collapse. I did. And then instead of being helped, kind of got shafted into like a penalty box slash like middle of nowheresville. Uh, everything was shut down too. There's nothing, nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing but fear and time and time, man. Just time to just sit there and wait and worry and wonder what was happening because something was hopefully happening. And it seemed like the more time passed that there wasn't anyone paying attention. No one gave a shit. And I'm just twisting in the wind, thinking, well, how do I get myself out of this? Like, I'm kind of stable, I think, maybe, but I can't live like this on knife edge. Like, is something gonna happen? So, my I'm guessing like my animal brain or something, whatever part of my brain that's like there to protect me and keep me alive was saying like we have to find a way to fix this situation. And I felt like I was already pretty pigeonholed into where I was because there wasn't really anywhere else I could go to afford the place and stuff. So like, plus I'm skilled and experienced, and it's really hard to get in the first place. Like it's hard. But I forgot where I was going with that. I mean, it's not hard right now. It's actually it is hard, but not in the way it was before. It was hard to be there before. Now it's like there's a challenge to what I do, and there seems like there's appreciation for what I do, and I can see the results of my work, and that's really what you need in life to be happy. You need to be able to see the results of your work. And obviously everybody knows all about how we're like alienated from the products of our labor and all that stuff. Like we've heard it a million times. If you haven't, I'm not here to coach you. You got to go look for that on your own. There's way other better qualified people to do that for you, and hopefully they'll chime in and take the mic from me because they know better, and they're the ones who educated me, and that's how this whole thing works, right? We learn things through science and investigation and talking to each other and dialogue and testing and all sorts of fun stuff. I mean, when you do the actual stuff, sometimes it might not look interesting to you, but if you understand what is taking place and what the implications could be, you might be a little more interested. It's up to you to take interest. Quite frankly, I can't tell you what's interesting. That's up to you. Like it's not for me to dictate what's interesting. I don't want to dictate what's interesting. It's hard enough dictating what's interesting to me. So, yeah, I think that's sort of what I was trying to say. Is like this all sort of spurned from that a couple of years ago, and I had like a false start because I think I had just like the wrong people around me that were like not helpful at all and just like antagonistic, and then just like super unsupportive, and then also becoming doubtful of me, and then all these things that were just like drive me up the freaking wall. Like I couldn't have been more calm and comfortable if the environment would have suited it, and because that became a house which I couldn't really escape because there was nowhere to go. Um, that just did, I think, probably irreversible damage and caused things to fall apart temporarily. I say temporarily, but it was a long while. I mean, here we are now. It's more than 2 years later. Things are very different. I'm doing fantastic, quite frankly. I'm quite happy with what's going on. I'm happy with work. I'm happy with everything. Happy with my partner. I got a little family going on. My folks are happy, healthy enough. There's not much to complain. Gonna be heading home for the holidays pretty soon and see a bunch of people and talk about a lot of big things. So I hope they grant me some audience. I know it's really irritating to listen. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks talking about yourself, promoting yourself, telling other people to please check out what you're doing. I know how much it sucks. And matter of fact, I made a long-winded stream on Twitch about how bad Twitch was for me in particular. I know it's not bad for everyone, but personally, I think that for the majority of people and the majority of creators, I would even wager that it is a miserable experience. And you're sort of always chasing that carrot, and it never gets any closer. And sometimes the carrot wanders away, and you don't understand why. And like you can't even get a person to come in and notice you. So what's the point of making anything and stuff? Like it's just terrible, right? Like trying to market yourself, get your stuff out there is so difficult. I'm painfully aware of that. I had a band back in 2010. We had this wicked album. Solidarity Band is linked in the information as on the channel there. go ahead. It is what it is. If you go right here, solidarity ban. You can check that stuff out. That's from like 14 years ago. Long time ago. I was a very different person back then. I also had basically nothing else going on. Like I needed to build some kind of career for myself, and that thing kind of seemed like a hell of a long shot, and I didn't want to bank on that. And other people, well, the band members obviously had other priorities at the time, and that's totally fair. And I don't hold any grudges at all because they're family to me. And I may not have spoken to Camille in a while, but meaning to reach out to him, and I want to see what he's got to say because I'd love to talk to him. Camille, hold your cabbage. um, but yeah, it's a real it's so difficult to get yourself out there, and I think it's because maybe you don't understand what it is you're trying to do or what's available to you. And if you want some help with that, I made a post. It's on my community post. It just says like DM me in Discord for marketing consulting. I will help if I deem you to be worthy of helping. I suppose you waste my time, I'm not gonna want to help you. You need to come prepared. You need to come with your homework done, and I'll see what I can do for you. But like, I'm not gonna be there to walk you through every little thing. Like that's over. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be that helpful anymore. Like you need to do some homework now. Like meet me where I'm at, or if not there, meet me on the way to somewhere. Don't fucking excuse me. Don't try to think I will just hand you everything every time because I may as well just do your job. And I'm not saying this in relation to like work or anything. I'm saying like whatever your role is, and when I'm saying job, I mean like a role in whatever team or whatever group you're in. Let's say you're in a D&D party or something like that. That's your role. You know who you are. Fulfill that role. Don't be like, oh, I'll come and do this thing, but I'll also just be a burden on everyone, and I'll be a liability whenever the situation calls for me to do something good, and everyone's like, but he doesn't know how to do anything because he didn't do his homework. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not doesn't care enough, but he wants to be part of it. It's like, no, like, help yourself a bit, right? Like do a little bit of research. It's so easy to learn about something. It's freaking excuse me. I really got to watch it with that. I'm trying so hard to do it. I'm going to do a much better job of that. I know there will be a space for it and whatnot, and I'll speak more freely maybe, but I really want to try to cut out the cussing. At least if I'm trying to have a broader reach. It's inevitable. I'm going to have to. Um, yeah. I have something in the works. It's actually pretty well ready. I've done about, I don't know, 10 or 12 iterations already. I'm ready to do the final one, and one day I'll do all the last playthroughs, and I'll come up with what I deem to be as good as it needs to be. And then that one's going to get pushed. That one's getting pushed all the way out to everyone. I'm only going to be pushing to the people who are most likely to engage with it because that's how life works. Kind of wasting your time reaching out to people that don't want to be reached out to. So I'm doing a little bit of research to prepare myself for that day. And I will have a video premiere scheduled for to be announced. But like I said, it's ready. So it's just a matter of when do I want to pull this trigger? I want to show you how much control I have. Maybe I want to show myself. I don't know. Whatever the case. I just want to see my intentions reflected in the real world through my actions and see if my assumptions are correct, which I believe them to be. But I do have numbers, but numbers don't mean everything, and numbers can be very persuasive to make you to cause you to make errors. I look at numbers all day long. Series of numbers, characters a lot, obviously. And sometimes in complicated sequences and such. And after a while, you start to go cross-eyed, looking at everything looks certain samey, and before you know it, you make what looks like a very obvious error, like a typo or something like that. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to be looking for typos basically, and there's clearly a word missing here because I've just flipped through this thing enough times, or I just don't care enough, or whatever the case. I'm just not careful, right? Or or maybe I just can't really allocate that much care and time to every interaction because there's so many interactions, right? So like I have to budget that accordingly. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to balance our assets and our liabilities so that we can have some chance of building equity. That's it. If you want it in business terms, that's as simple as I can make it. I want to take the GDHs, the goddamn heroes of the world. I want them all under the same banner, helping each other. And if you want to be a goddamn liability or the hashtag GDLs, that's up to you. And you guys can have your own thing, and we can have a big face off. I don't care, whatever the case. I don't know. The point is, I want your help. I need your help. If you want to be helpful, please help me. And if you don't care and don't give a shit, just delete me, and that's good. Go live your life. I'm not here to interrupt what you're doing. That's not what I'm here for. Like, I'm no more interrupting you to watch me than every advertisement that's ever been bombarded into your feed. Like, I have skipped every single ad. I will tacitly admit that I skip every single ad. I used to run ad blockers, VPNs, like anything to get around ads. I hated ads. Ads. Terrible. I will refuse to pay for premium because I know that will embolden the strategy of we just need to make another subscription for this. And I'm not subscribing to everything in my life for money and never owning anything. I'm pushing back against that. I'm pushing back against digitization in some degree by taking some of the automation back away from sort of the algorithm, in the sense that people can be more self-policing and not having to rely on devices as much. I realize the irony of me saying that, speaking into this microphone that's plugged in a million things, run by power that's boiled steam and a million other things. I'm fully aware. I'm clearly not against technology. I'm just saying that I'm aware of the fact that our technology can lead us to make errors because we trust our instruments too much. I think if any professional would tell you the same. So I am trusting my instruments, and I would like to make all of you instruments of the hashtag GDH movement and make goddamn heroes of yourselves and live your best lives and just get on the bandwagon. And if you don't want to, thanks. That's okay. You don't even need to let me know. Just like leave. Just go away. You don't have a thumbs down. If you do, you can leave a comment. I love if you do thumbs down something, do leave a comment. I love to read those. I live for the comments, quite frankly. Like, more comments all day. I can't get enough comments. Comment anything. I'm gonna read it. Like, until it gets out of hand. Like, if it does get out of hand. Right now, I have like a piddly amount of comments. It's not a problem. But regardless, if you do leave a thumbs down, please just comment anything. Just to have some sort of human interaction there, because otherwise I can't really tell you apart from some bot, or like, maybe a kid's on his phone and just missed click something or whatever the case. I want to be able to get some kind of useful data out of that. So I've jokingly put like a comment on one video that you might sort of sneak and see, and I have a way that I'm sort of gonna deal with these as well in the future. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, that's I think that's good enough for now. I might summarize this up later. Might wrap it up. I don't know. Either way, it's been swell. Thanks for listening.